Thanksgiving's full. Try another time. Her voice didn't just cut through the line. It struck with triumph, a slammed door disguised as words. There was a pause, heavy and humiliating, where warmth should have been but never arrived. I felt my chest tighten, like grief snagging on a hidden splinter. And then I spoke the words a forgotten child learns to use to survive. No worries. Metallic. Sharp. Like biting your own tongue to stop the bleeding in front of the world. Hi, I'm Celine. If I sound calm, it's because heartbreak trains you. I don't scream anymore. I don't plead. I watch. I remember. I rise. My family equates silence with weakness. They never understood that silence can be a storm, teeth bared, waiting. Always loving loudly in public while rationing affection in private, like gold. And I was born empty-handed. Holidays weren't tables. They were scoreboards. Who shone brighter? Who brought the better wine? Who disappointed them this year? Me. Always me. Shifting chairs, pretending I didn't exist. But this year, their enthusiasm sounded like eviction. And my no worries wasn't surrender. It was ignition. I didn't tell them the truth, that while they guarded their dining table like a trophy, I had already built a life they couldn't imagine. Space, sky, dignity, a $6 million ranch in Montana, where snow lands soft as mercy and the land listens when you breathe. A place where solitude feels sacred, not punished. I knew then, if they had no room for me at their table, I would make a table long enough for strangers, wide enough for the broken, warm enough for the forgotten. I wouldn't cry this Thanksgiving. I would feed hearts they overlooked, and mine first. My mother hung up, thinking she had shut me out. She didn't know she had just opened a door, one she could never close. The first seat I set was for the girl they never thought would rise. When a door slams loud enough, it echoes, not just in your ears, but in your bones. I stared at my phone's dark reflection and whispered to the child inside it, not this year. I packed fast, not like fleeing, but like reclaiming gravity. Wool coat, soft leather gloves, notebook of unspoken things, keys to a ranch no one knew existed. As I zipped my bag, a small, profound smile tugged at me. Not the kind that stretches your face, but the kind that lifts your soul by the chin and says finally. Outside, New York's November wind cut sharp, cold, uninvited, like family when they decide you don't belong. I walked into it anyway. Some storms are worth stepping into, especially when you are the lightning. At the airport, holiday chaos swirled. Arms heaving with pies, children sticky with excitement, faces glowing with promise. I didn't envy them. Longing loses its grip the moment you stop chasing closed doors. On the plane, I didn't sleep. I planned. I didn't want quiet. I wanted human. People think revenge is rage. Sometimes it's grace. Grace served so generously it shames small hearts. I made a list. Local shelters, veteran homes, single parents, runaways, people with no place at a table, who knew loneliness better than laughter. I would feed them all. I would meet their eyes and say without words, I see you. You belong. Descending into Montana, the sky open wide. Snow-dusted pine tops. Mountains loomed like patient gods. Below, my secret refuge awaited, Eclipse Ridge Ranch. $6 million of everything I'd never had. Peace, freedom, dignity, space where no one could decide my worth. I pressed my palm to the window and whispered, this year, I host the world. The plane touched down. My heart followed. Thanksgiving wouldn't be quiet. It would roar. The cold Montana air bit, but it cleansed. Every breath washed away voices that told me I wasn't enough. On the frozen gravel, mountains wrapped me in ancient patience. Elias, my ranch manager, weathered and loyal, tipped his hat without a question. Within hours, the ranch came alive. Farmhands unloading fresh produce. Volunteers lighting heaters near long wooden tables. Bakers stacking pies like sugar skyscrapers. A butcher delivering turkeys massive enough to silence small. Word spread. Slowly at first, then all at once. Widows who hadn't been invited in years. Foster teens with nowhere to go. Veterans carrying silence heavier than medals. Single mothers holding toddlers like shields. No one asked why I was doing this, They didn't need to. Sometimes the most broken hearts recognize each other without a single word. Elias wiped frost from his gloves. You sure you want to host 200 strangers? Your parents won't like the publicity. I looked at the tables stretching wide. They didn't leave room for me. I'm building room for anyone who's ever felt unseen. He smiled. That's not a dinner. That's a revolution dressed as kindness. He was right. This wasn't a meal, it was a declaration. A message from my mother sat unread. A group photo of my sisters laughing around a bountiful table. Caption, family first. My table was just beginning. Bigger than blood could imagine. The sun dipped early. Lanterns glowed from pine branches. Fire pits crackled. Steam rose from platters like warmth itself had learned to rise for these souls. They arrived slowly, wary. But hunger loosens fear. A teenage girl whispered, "Is this really free?" I know. Nothing here has a price. Recognition broke across her face. Soon, the tables filled. Men removed battered hats. Mothers fed little ones. Veterans greeted each other like finding platoons. Plates passed. Stories followed. A choir of quiet souls learning to speak again. One man lifted his glass. "Ma'am, why are you doing this?" I swallowed. Once, someone had decided I didn't deserve a seat. Now I knew room is a choice. Elias watched silently. No applause. No nods. Just understanding. A phone buzzed. "Hope you're not alone today. Don't want you to feel forgotten." Poison disguised as courtesy. I took a photo instead. Rows of smiling strangers, plates full, hearts fuller. Lights glowing like a promise kept. I didn't post yet. I let the image sit, a loaded truth. A boy tugged my coat. "Miss, this feels like home." My chest tightened, not from pain, from arrival. Some families aren't blood, they are survival. Tonight, I wasn't abandoned. I was becoming. Music played low, violins gentle enough to cradle sorrow. People leaned back, warmth settling in bones. Laughter rose, raw, unpolished, living, healing. A silver-haired woman held my hand. "Thank you for remembering people like me exist." Her voice cracked and something inside me loosened. The last knot tied by years of being unseen. Kids ran with sparklers. Elias leaned close. "You look peaceful." "Free," I replied. "Freedom costs pain, but look what you built." Pain sculpts. We are marble until we realize it. Phone buzz, boom. Family photos. "Wish you were here." Another. Perfect smiles, wine glasses, family means everything. No sting. Just clarity. My old spot replaced by a centerpiece. A message, "You're not part of this." I didn't miss them. I missed the version of myself I pretended to be. I turned my camera to the tables. 200 hands clasped, eyes bright, humanity breathing as one. "Anyone want seconds?" "Pies are out." I called. Cheers erupted. For the first time, Thanksgiving didn't feel like a test. It felt like home, built from my spine. Morning spilled soft gold over white fields. Silence at the ranch wasn't emptiness. It was earned. Snow-dusted path, pine-scented air. Forgiveness not for them, for me. Phone buzzed. Family group chat ablaze. "You made us look heartless." "Delete that post." "Sister, you should have just come." Dramatic. Then a voice memo from mom. Family matters. "You don't turn your back just because you feel left out." Wind brushed my hair. Nothing heavy remained. Blood is biology. Family is behavior. I typed slowly, calm, clear. You close the door. I stopped waiting outside. Hit send. Lock sliding into place. Elias approached with 2 mugs. Storm passed? No storm. Just weather and weather changes. Warm palms. Warm silence. Not alone. Downhill, volunteers cleared tables. Kids chased dogs. Strangers who were now family waved. I lifted my mug. To everyone ever left out at the holidays. To those who learned to feed themselves when love came rationed. My old life didn't crumble. It became too small for who I had grown into. Some revenge burns bridges. Mine built a kingdom. In that kingdom, I fed the forgotten, healed myself, and walked forward without slamming a single door. Because rising quietly, fully, is louder than shouting.